So his name is Bunyan, is it? Well, no man is coming into this territory without first asking my permission. I don't care how big they say he is. Timber! Every tree in the land's gonna fall. Timber! And you can thank Panhandle Pete for it all.
Rankin Bass present Festival of Family Classics.
Today's presentation will be
A wild and woolly tale about a legendary American folk hero, Paul Bunyan.
So bring on the whole family.
How about another one, Uncle Fred? Please, please.
Well, okay. This story took place not a mile from where we're sitting at this very moment. Right out there, yonder, by the big falls, folks talked about how the big Niagara Falls was the work of one man.
Wow.
A man bigger than life itself. He's a legend, Paul Bunyan, known throughout the land. Paul Bunyan, with a big axe in his hand. What a mighty name, Paul Bunyan. And here's how he earned his fame. It all started at Panhandle Pete's lumber camp. Now, old Panhandle was one of the orneriest lumber bosses in the North Country. And to say that he was a big fella, well, that would really be underestimating the situation.
Now, there's been too much plain loafing on the job going on here. So from now on, everybody works 16 hours a day instead of 15. Then we got cleanup duties round the camp here. Should take another 5 hours, so that'll leave you all a good 3 hours for loafing and sleeping and doing anything else you can think of. Now, let's get moving.
Now, two of the lumberjacks, Crosscut Kelly and Stump Watson, had about all they could take of Panhandle Pete.
Stump, I can't take a minute more, I tell you. I've had it. Either we both head out of here tonight or I'm gone alone.
You're right.
What's going on here? In my camp, a man either works or sleeps. Can't have nobody just wasting time talking. We got half a forest to cut tomorrow, so sack out!
It's gotta be tonight. You're right. Let's move.
And that's how it all began. Working and slaving. The ends never meet. Can't make a dollar with Panhandle Pete. He was a giant. Our home was a jail. So one day we took off and hit the old trail. And we met our Paul Bunyan. Baby crib and all. Paul Bunyan. Half a year and 6 feet tall. Floating down the stream. Paul Bunyan. Seemed like a dizzy dream.
I just can't believe me own eyes. Do you see what I see, Stump?
I think I do.
Let's try and get it up here close by the core line. Hey, look here. Seems to be a note scribbled out.
Let me see. Dear, to whom it may concern, our baby, Paul Bunyan was getting a mite too big for us to handle. Please try to take care of him and give him a good home.
Paul Bunyan? Well, I guess we got us what you might call a handful.
Well, they adopted the baby Paul right there on the spot. He kind of made them forget about their own troubles, since it was all they could do to manage to take care of him. Yes, sir, he was quite a baby. And did that boy grow. Seemed that every morning, Crosscut and Stump woke up, Paul was another foot higher. Meanwhile, Panhandle was in a rage about losing two of his men.
What do you mean you can't find them? It's been months now. I want Kelly and Watson, and I want them back now.
Come on, let's get out of here.
But Paul and his uncles were hidden safely away in a canyon. And as the years passed, the boy began to change. Paul Bunyan, will you touch the sky today? Paul Bunyan, how big will you be? Just a boy in every way, Paul Bunyan. The tall, old pine tree.
Betcha he reaches up to Panhandle Pete's belt buckle by now. Wouldn't you suppose?
If he keeps eating and growing at this rate, he'll be bigger than Pete in no time.
Hey, give me a hand greasing this here griddle. Or should I say, give me a foot.
What you doing there? We don't need the firewood cut so fancy, you know.
These here are the beginnings of buttons for Paul's new shirt. It's a present for his 10th birthday. What you doing there, Stump? Are you in the cattle business now?
Yeah, I figure it's time Paul had a new pair of shoes. And it'll take back this many cows to do it. He's 12 years old today, you know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Now, just you wait a
1,
minute.
2, 3,
Just what do you think you're
4,
doing? I mean, shooting at
5,
the ground's plain
6
loco.
buttonholes.
What?
Making Paul a shirt. And you can't make a shirt for a 15-year-old boy that don't have buttonholes.
Well, finally, Paul grew to be a man. Now, it was up to Paul himself to decide what his life would be. Paul Bunyan, there's a job to do. Paul Bunyan, there's a special place for you. And suddenly the heavens shook, and the thunder it roared, and a star fell at Paul's feet. And then lightning struck the star, and the rain began to fall, and the earth smelled fresh and sweet. And Paul Bunyan looked down, and he saw at his feet an axe head still glowing from the lightning bolt's heat. And then Bunyan knew what his life's work would be. And for an axe handle, he cut down a big oak tree. And then the mighty Bunyan knew what he was meant to be. He's gonna be the king of the lumbermen, he is.
We'll all be, if it isn't Stump and Kelly.
And will you look at that boy? Never thought I'd see anyone could match the size of Panhandle.
Old Panhandle's gonna be mighty interested in all this.
Let's ride.
So his name is Bunyan, is it? Well, no man is coming into this territory without first asking my permission. I don't care how big they say he is. Tim timber! And you can thank Panhandle Pete for it all.
It's him, all right. He's gonna be right here in our neck of the woods within the week. I think we'd better think about moving out.
No. Hold on a minute. If this Panhandle Pete fella keeps on cutting down the forest like he has been, there's going to be a heap of problems.
You just can't cut down every tree in sight.
You gotta leave parts standing. And you have to plant seedlings.
And I think it's about time I did something about this here Pete fella. Tell me a little about him.
Well, he's got this awful pride. Thinks ain't nothing anybody can do better than him.
That's right. He's always challenging the next guy to a contest or something.
Maybe that's how we can get him to start changing his ways. Dear Mr. Pete, I hear you're a betting man and not past wagering on a contest that might suit your liking. Well, I heard of you and you heard of me. So here's my suggestion. On July 4th at Center Junction...
Paul challenged old Pete to 3 contests. Log rolling in the river, hole digging for water, and arm wrestling for strength. And the loser, well, he had to leave the territory for good.
Well, kind of saves me the trouble of going out after him now, doesn't it? So it's a contest he wants, does he? Ha! Well, then, it's a contest he shall have.
Paul, are you sure you want to go through with this, son?
He's a lot bigger than you, and he's not above a bit of cheating.
It's the only way.
Bunyan? Bunyan? Ha! I hear he's just a boy. Only thing is, word has it that he has an axe that has some strange power in it. So, just to even things up a bit, here's what I want you to do.
I'll get warmed up a bit before the first contest. This one's rougher than I thought. Well, I'll be. I don't believe it. Uncle Kelly, Watson, I'm afraid you two were right when you said that Panhandle Pete wasn't above a little cheat.
Why, that don't look like your axe, son. Little old redwood tree wouldn't have took a chunk like that out of it.
Last night, I thought I heard some funny sounds.
Pete must have switched axes on me. Well, he's sure going to be in for the biggest surprise of his life when he tries to use it.
Huh? What do you mean, Paul?
Just you wait and see.
She sure is a beauty, and sharp as a razor.
Why don't you give it a try, Pete?
Nah, don't want to dull the edge. Think I'll wait until the digging contest.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the contest of the century. 3 events: log rolling, well digging, and arm wrestling. Best 2 out of 3 to be declared the winner. And now, the champion from Double Cross Corners, Nevada, Panhandle Pete. And the challenger from Straight Arrow, Colorado, Paul Bunyan. First event, log rolling. of strength, the arm wrestling event. First knuckles to hit the ground is the loser. Ready, set, let her go.
This is it, Bunyan. You haven't got a chance. Won't even need to cheat for this one. Guess you got me, Pete. You're the better man. Yahoo! Yow! What happened?
Winner of the second event, Paul Bunyan.
Overconfidence.
What's that got to do with it?
Well, sometimes when you think you're winning and you're right near the end, a man can get too sure of himself and let up a bit.
But how about this last event, Paul?
Yeah, how are you going to make out without your axe, Paul?
Y'all just don't worry your heads none, now you hear? Everything's gonna be just fine.
And now for the final event, a chopping contest. First man to chop his way down to water will be declared the winner. Ready, set, let her go.
What seems to be the problem? He must have switched axes on me. I want my axe back.
Bunyan, don't make no difference to me which axe I use.
All right.
Let the contest continue.
Finally, Paul Bunyan met Panhandle Pete. Panhandle screamed, "Boy, you're gonna get beat." With that, he swung his old axe in the air, but Paul kept on digging with nary a care. Paul Bunyan, known throughout the land. Paul Bunyan lived up to his name with a big axe in his hand. Paul Bunyan had started to earn his fame.
The winner, Paul Bunyan!
Well, not only did Paul win the contest, he created a gigantic waterfall that would be a source of power for the future. And Pete, well, he kind of drifted out of sight. Humble, he said.
Axe! Well, you beat him fair and square. But tell me about that axe.
Yeah. What's the mystery all about?
Well, when I first made that axe, I realized that it was unbalanced. So I dug out a piece of the bottom and put in a big chunk of iron ore to balance it. Well, the other night before I went to bed, I thought I'd do a little rebalancing. So I took out the iron and thought I'd work on it in the morning.
And you forgot all about it next day.
And you didn't remember until you realized that the axe you were using wasn't yours.
Exactly. That's how I knew Pete wouldn't be able to handle it. It was too blamed unbalanced. Of course, when he gave it back to me, I just stuck back the iron piece and it was all set to rip.
Well, Paul, the folks round here are mighty proud of you. They're already setting up a tower near the falls as a tourist attraction.
Yep. They're calling it Niagara or something like that. Sure is a pretty sight.
Let's move. There's lots of work to be done.
Well, everyone knew that from here on in, their lives would be a lot better. They'd finally found their champion. And Paul, well, he just mopped his brow, picked up his axe and his uncle's, and started off into the wilderness. The man had a lot of chopping to do and a glorious life to live.
What happened to Paul then? Where did he go? Did he make anything else that we know about?
Oh, yes. Paul went on to adventure after adventure. He made the Great Lakes, the Aleutian Islands, the Grand Canyon, And in his spare time, he dug out a little ditch which he called the Mississippi River, so he'd have something big enough to float his cutting to market in the spring. The tall tale? Well, maybe so, maybe so. But I've never been known as a tall-talking man. I call 'em straight and as true as I can. So slide down those eyebrows and drop round again, 'cause this ain't the end, just a resting place, my friend. He's a legend. Paul Bunyan.